I was working at the time, and I had an awful lot of meetings, and the meetings were getting bigger and bigger with the number of people at the meeting. And I was finding I just wasn't hearing. I would hear maybe a few people depending on how distinctly they spoke, but it was very, very difficult picking up female voices in particular, or quietly spoken people. And I was conscious that I wasn't hearing the television well, and I was always asking Les to repeat himself. And friends had to repeat themselves so often, and it just got to the stage I realised how annoying it must be for them. So I did something about it, and I got the NHS hearing aids. They amplified everything, which meant you had that really harsh sound, and with the new digital ones you just don't get that. It's a much softer quality of sound that you have with the new ones, because it's selective. It doesn't amplify everything, so you don't get clattering cutlery and all the harsh sounds that you get in restaurants, and all the background noise that you can't distinguish the voice from the person you're talking to amongst all of the other noises that are going around. So that's what made the big difference, going digital and going private. I looked online. I came across the Hearing Aid Advice Centre, and I phoned Colin, and we had a really long conversation. He spent a lot of time with me. It was really great, and reassured me that you could go private and you could get that continuity of care that I was looking for. And 10 years later, I'm still with him. From there, well, Colin does home visits, so I didn't have to go anywhere to have the hearing test. I did it in the comfort of my own home. The test itself was very thorough. And the time that Colin spent with me was way more than I'd ever experienced before, just getting the test right. He just seems to understand what it is like to be deaf, because I think if you aren't deaf, it must be really hard to know what it's like, because when you're losing your hearing, you don't know what you've lost. And he's able to explain the situations that I could say I was having trouble with this or this or this, and he can tell me that I can help you with that, because these things have directional microphones on them, and they'll zero in on the voice that's speaking to you, that sort of thing. And more recently, the television, when I was saying I still have a real problem with some of the dramas on television, and he recommended the TV link with the Compilot, and it's been absolutely brilliant ever since I've started using it. I don't think I've missed a word, and it used to be I was constantly asking my husband, what was that? What did he just say? You know, and I don't need to do that now. It's just great. I'm included now in everything. I meet up with a number of people, and it used to be I was okay with the person opposite me and maybe the person up to the side, but I noticed when we were out at Christmas for a meal, I was hearing the people who were talking to me from the other end of the table, and there was about 10 of us there, and that hasn't happened to me for a long time, and that's since I upgraded recently to the latest technology. I have at least 4 people now, I think, that I've suggested see Colin, and every one of them has been delighted.